How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. We are checking out another one here from Hobbymaster, of course, in 1/72nd scale diecast. It is a McDonnell F-101 Voodoo. It's an F-101B, actually, from the 62nd Fighter Interceptor Squadron in 1965. Now, the 62nd was originally formed during World War II in 1941 as the 62nd Pursuit Squadron, changing to a fighter squadron in 1942. And did inactivate in October of 1945. It was reformed again in 1946, and in 1950 it was redesignated the 62nd Fighter Interceptor Squadron, as the squadron is known here with our aircraft, but it was equipped with F-86 Sabres first, before re-equipping with these beautiful looking aircraft in 1959. It would fly these until 1970. During this time, the squadron would win several awards, including World Champions at the 1965 William Tell live fire gunnery competition, which our actual model does depict. Now let us check it out. You can see that big ass aircraft sitting in there. It looks absolutely brilliant. Of course, some details in the flap as per usual. No good in the box though, is it, guys? So we'll get this open. Let us open it up and check it out right now. Alright, with the model out of the box, remember I do put the HA number in the description and also when it's on the turntable, so if you're ever interested in one of these models, feel free to check out the details if you want to know the exact HA number. Now it does come with a set of tanks that we need to put on the aircraft, of course. It also does come with a stand as per usual. And this is one the model monkey quickly slapped together. It is a interesting type stand that is pretty specific to these particular aircraft. But that is pretty cool. Now we've got to get this lid open. Let us check out this beautiful looking Voodoo. So obviously you've got a couple of crew members there. You've got all the gear up options and the gear down options there. And that awesome looking model here. Boy, these look really fantastic. I've got a couple of these and the ones I have opened so far have been really nice looking, and they are such a large aircraft. I didn't realise how big they are until I started getting some of these die-cast models, and I am not disappointed with the build quality either. Hobbymaster really knocked these out of the park. If I can actually get it out of the packet. There is a little bit of a stickiness. They have their sort of, as you can see in the packets, some little felt or something in there, little white sort of stuff to, I assume, to stop the paint, maybe from rubbing against the packaging while it's in there, but it does sometimes stick to the paint, as you can see there, so that is a little unfortunate. I'll have to clean that off and get that off. But how about we just check this out in the bare bones first, and then we can do some assembly and check it out properly. All right, the details on this is really nice, as I said. The actual panel lines are really nicely done. Man, I love the configuration, like the shape of the wings. It looks awesome. This is a really nice looking aircraft. So obviously you can swap out the, well, actually I think you can open the canopy, because there wasn't any canopy pieces in there, was there? There we go. Yes, you can. Beautiful. Wow, that opens up heaps. It gives you a really good look in there. That is, but it is floppy. So it is really nice though. It opens up really wide so you can put your figures in there if you want to put pilot figures in there. That is awesome. But that is, oh, that looks fantastic too. So it does have the options for your missiles, and it flips around so you can have whichever one you want to have. This one is a little bit loose, but oh, there we go. But that does look really nice. So obviously tanks will be going there, landing gear options in there, of course, stand hole. You do get a plug if you don't want to have it on the stand, which we will check out when we have gear down. Yeah, very cool. Bit of tubes already on there, so you don't have to worry about dicking with that. There's no real details inside the intakes, so you don't really see much in there, but that doesn't matter. But what we do want to see is this setup in flight. So we will go off and do that right now. What do you reckon? All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, we're back with in flight. Very straightforward. There is just 1, 2, 3 gear bay doors, as you can see. Just chuck those in. Takes you a couple of seconds. Of course, make sure you've chosen which option you want to display while you're having it in flight, and you put your 2 tanks on. You do get a little tool, so it's got the little notches in there, so when you do want to put it in gear down, you just use that tool to flick those out. Very straightforward. And that is your aircraft set up for in flight. Looks fantastic. That arrestor hook doesn't really work, doesn't move or anything, but this is how your awesome Voodoo is going to look in flight. Looks mint. I definitely really dig these for sure. I love that shape. That wing profile is awesome. If I was going to pick on anything, I'd suppose pick on the fact that this is fairly loose. But look, that's nothing bad anyway, because pretty much once you've got your option, when you've got it flat like that on display, whether it's in flight or gear down, it will sit flat. It's only because we've got it on the side and moving it around, then it just sort of flips around. But yeah, that's the only thing I'd say is, if it's something you want to really pick on. But to put it on in-flight display, it's very straightforward. You just slip your stand in right there in the stand hole. It does have a little bit that does cradle around the fuselage. If you're worried about rubbing of the paint or anything, just put some tape on it. Or as you saw in the packet, it had that little sort of stuff in that packet that protected the paint while it was in that plastic, so it wouldn't rub the wing edges. You could use something like that as well. But I reckon this does look pretty cool. Sets up nicely on the stand. Looks fantastic. Yep. Definitely a one to get if you're a Voodoo lover and don't have one yet. All right, but I want to check this out gear down. So what we'll do is we'll put some landing gear on this, of course, chuck it on the scales and come right back. All right, we'll get straight into the weight. We'll see how much this Voodoo does weigh. We'll put it on the gear and... how much? That is 339 grams for this beautiful Hobbymaster Voodoo, and we'll move the scales out of the way and we will check this out underneath. The landing gear, very straightforward as usual too. In case you haven't seen my previous Voodoo videos, it was just the one module that drops straight in there. It's just one piece. I don't think the wheels rotate. The tyres don't turn or anything. And then there's just the inner piece there, and then you drop the module piece there for the main landing gear. Same on the other side, and that is job done. As you can see, that's still floppy as ever. But I think gear down looks fantastic as well. So whatever your preference, gear up or gear down, this is going to look absolutely majestic. I reckon it's a beautiful looking one. And of course, the canopy does open right up, really big, but it is obviously a bit floppy, so it won't stay up. Well, if you've got a bit of a lean, it might, but with my table, it's not going to stay in the open position, but there is all that nice detail as we saw earlier. But I reckon it is another fantastic F-101 Voodoo from Hobbymaster, of course, so they do them really nicely, and I don't think I've been disappointed as yet. But as I said, the only issue with this particular model is the flippiness of the missile options. All right, I will wind the video up. I'll take some photos of this, of course, throw them on at the end of the video. Don't forget, if you want to say something, drop some comments below, as always. And feel free to subscribe to the channel if you're watching and haven't done so. And yeah, all right, I'll finish up by saying, as per usual as well, thank you very much for spending your valuable time in checking out another one of our diecast videos. I hope you enjoyed this aircraft today, because I certainly did. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Cheers, everyone.